Christmas is almost here, and if you want to support the channel and myself, MazolaDesigns.co.uk for the best football prints on the market for any club across the entire world. Use code New Year for 20% off. This is my own company, my own prints, and it means a lot for your guys' support. So link down below, top of the description. Right, okay. This thing is back again. The European Super League... apologies, sorry. It's not the European Super League, actually. It's the A22 proposal. Whatever the fuck that means. I'm sorry, but you got how much money, how many billions, and the best you came up with is A22 Sport. Anyway, so let's talk about it, right? Because I mean, I'm so sick of this. I'm so bored of this on both sides. I need to get something said early on here. I'm not a big fan of UEFA. Okay? People are like, if you don't like the new European Super League, then you must love UEFA competitions, and they're doing things wrong too. Yes, I agree. I think they're fucking greedy and corrupt too. Just like I think this is greedy and corrupt too. I'm sick and tired of all of it. I just want to watch some football, mate, in a fair way that makes some sense. This is just people, not just money grabbing here, but measuring. This is Florentino Perez and his cronies grabbing their wang and whacking it onto the table, saying "suck it." That's what they're doing. This is all. It's all ego. Smashing a banana on my desk and saying "suck it" is possibly one of the wildest starts of video of mine. But I'm tired of it, man. I really am, because this is a thing that we're gonna get online. There's gonna be people, i.e., people who support Barca or Real Madrid or not from England, saying that, oh, the English Premier League is corrupt, you spend so much money, it's not fair for people like us. I'm sorry that your league is shit. I'm so sorry. Is it my fault as an English person that people don't want to watch La Liga? I'm sorry that people do not want to watch Getafe versus Rayo Vallecano. I'm so sorry, bro. And that's the underlying main annoyance of all of this, is that the Premier League gets too much money because they get too many eyes in it, and because it's successful and the other teams can't compete with the money, which, by the way, I agree. The Premier League makes too much money. The fact that a team like mine, Burnley, can spend 100 million quid is stupid, right? So the fact Bournemouth can outbid AC Milan players is, again, for me, stupid. Do I want to see a world where money gets shared out more fairly? Okay, I mean, that's in an ideal world, that'd be great, but you gotta bring something to the table and work on that on your own merit and your own back before you try to say that, well, they have money and I don't, so it must be their fault. That's how things work, right? If there's one person that has more money than the other person, then therefore the person with more money must have done something really evil and must be wrong in some way. Otherwise, why would he have more money? And that same thought process is being pushed on here. And again, I gotta reiterate this. I don't like UEFA. I don't like them. I think that their new proposal for the new Champions League and all that is nonsense. There's no need, but they want more money. However, in the same breath, this new Super League nonsense is also a cash grab. And I'm going to go through this proposal here and go through it step by step and why it makes no sense and why they're trying to pull the wool over your eyes. Again, underlying main issue here. The underlying main thing to keep in mind here. This is not about sporting merit. This is not about wanting a fairer sport. This is about UEFA not having the money and the people, i.e. Florentino Perez and his friends, has the money instead. That's all it's about. It's not about sporting merit or better sport for all. It's about they have the money, the clubs, and not UEFA. That is it. So let's get straight into this, yeah? And by the way, I've been calling online a Premtard or a Premier League fan. I don't know what that even means. Like, I'm as a Burnley fan as well, I don't even want to be in the Premier League. Like, I would rather be in a Championship, but that's because we're bad, and I'm salty. So, you know, take that with a pinch of salt. A match-going fan experience, the Premier League's awful. Like, I don't like watching the Premier League at all, like, as a fan going to games. There's some outliers, of course, like Newcastle and like Aston Villa, proper clubs, great atmospheres, proper fans. And even with all the money and all the Premier League, they still have their main core fan base there that is passionate. But there's a lot of clubs in Premier League that is just like, in terms of match-going experience, I find it very plastic-like and very money-oriented, which I find really bad. So I need my glasses for this, right? So this is the almighty proposal.
A22 wants to create the world's most exciting club football competition. Our proposal aims to ensure competitive
Wait. I'm sorry, I've not heard it fully complete yet. I just saw the tweets. Am I being crazy, or is this not a real person saying this whatsoever? Like, you know, like in recent weeks and months, there's been a lot of push towards AI, like AI generated music, podcasts, whatever, right? This is not a real human saying this. Listen to it back after me saying this, and you tell me that you think this is actually a real person saying this is AI as hell. Listen to it again.
Create the world's most exciting club football competition. Our proposal aims to ensure competitive tension throughout the year.
I don't know. For me, that feels really like fake and AI. For me, it comes across as AI, which for me, it perfectly symbolizes this entire thing that it's all just fake and nonsense. Again, I don't like UEFA either. I think football in general right now is shit. So I'm not on either side. I think all of this is a bunch of nonsense, and I really hate where the sport is going to.
Open system featuring promotion and relegation, and two
open system, promotion, relegation. What they don't tell you is that in theory you can get relegated. However, let's say whoever's in this top, you go into it, there's 3 different tiers, right? If you get relegated, right, if you're from top tier, you're still guaranteed in European competition no matter what. Do you think that, let's say, the bottom of the top tier in the Star League, by the way, sounds stupid. Let's say, who's in there? AC Milan, just give them, or Inter, right? Let's say they get relegated. Do you think they're going to end up going down to the bottom tier and also come out of the entirety of Europe? No, they're in European competition forever. So it's got promotion and relegation. It's an open thing. No, it's not really. Do you think any of the top teams will be out of European competition? No, they won't. They'll always be there, always. So it's not really open system at all. Like, in theory, there is relegation, but that's really going to really hinder the team at the bottom of the pack. And the top dogs, they're fine. Even if they're in the medium tier, they'll still get their money. So it doesn't really matter anyway. It's basically like, oh, wait, what was the main critique of the first proposal? There's no relegation. Okay, let's put it in, but in the most minor way possible that really makes no difference to us. So there is, but you've got to go through these different leagues to end up going down. There will always be in European competition no matter what. Anyway.
2 stages, a league stage and a knockout stage. The European Men's Super League will have 64 participating clubs, Star, Gold and Blue.
I can't believe Is this PES? Is this top 11? I'm sorry. I can't believe how much money has been put into this, and they've come up with Star, Gold, and Blue. It just sounds so childish. I'm sorry. It sounds stupid, and it's a really minor critique, but I cannot take it seriously. Like, I look at this picture, yeah? What's this picture? Star, Gold, and Blue. If I put the same concept into Top 11, the mobile game, or PES, or Dream Team, Dream League Soccer, will it look at a place? No, it won't. This looks like it's directly from PES. So, anyway, it just looks so amateur.
Star League consists of 16 clubs divided into 2 groups of 8. It's the same for the Gold League, 16 clubs, 2 groups of 8. The Blue League will have 32 clubs split into 4 groups of 8. 18 matches per club each season, 7 at home, 7 away. The top
in the group stage, 40 matches. In the current proposal for the Champions League, it's what in the group stage? 10? 5 home, 5 away? So, will it end up being more games or less games? League stage from September to April. So basically they have like a match week like once a month?
Knockout round starting with the quarter-final.
A quarter-final, right.
Quarter and semi-final consist of a 2-legged knockout round, home and away. The final will be played on neutral ground.
Right, so that's 14 games plus also. So to win it, you've got to play 14 games to qualify through, and then you've got to go to the 16 and then 18 and then the 5. So 19 games altogether to win your thing, right? So 19 games altogether. And in the Champions League, it's what? It's 10 in the group stage and then a normal round of 16 and then a normal round of 16, quarters, semis, final. So trying to work it out. There's more games in this than the actual current new Champions League format with the 36 teams in the league system thing. So all in all, this actually involves more games, but it's more spread across the main league season. I know that one of the main critiques is like playing too much football. I guess this has less football throughout the season between September to April and then the big games at the end. But would that happen before the league's over or after? It will still kind of have the same effect in the grand scheme of things. If you have to play these major semi-finals in sometime late April or early May, that's when the season's over. I don't know what the sort of plan is.
At round finals, winners will be the Blue League, Gold League, and Star League champions.
I just don't understand. it just comes across so amateur.
Our proposal is built around sporting merit.
No, it's not. No, it is not built around sporting merit. Don't even try to. This is sporting merit. You mean basically because people got pissed off because there was no relegation last time. So, oh wait, it's sporting merit because there's relegation promotion. Yeah, but not really. Because if you have one bad year, you're still in European competition. So it really makes no difference.
Relegation and exit from the competition happen each season. The club finishing at the bottom of each group of the Star League will be relegated and replaced by the 2 Gold League finalists.
Only two. Okay.
The same system applies in the Gold League. The last club of each group will be relegated and replaced by Blue League finalists. In the Blue League, 20 out of the 32 clubs will leave the competition altogether.
20 out of the 32. Right. So basically, the big boys only have 2 promotion relegations in the first and second league, but the third league is over half the league is gone. What? Okay, so basically, how many teams can get promoted? 2, right? Was that only 2 can go up?
Will be relegated.
Only 2 teams in a 32-team league can get promoted. However, 20 can get relegated?
And replaced by Blue League finalists. In the Blue League, 20 out of the 32 clubs will leave the competition altogether and be replaced by clubs depending on their domestic league performance.
But then what happens if those same teams that got relegated are better than the... What? This makes no sense. So what So what happens if the teams that get relegated has a better league performance or domestic performance than the teams that are below them, but they got relegated? So are they just ignored? I don't think they thought this through. So let's say, I don't know, Sevilla, right? They're having a bad season, right? They get relegated from the bottom league. Finish, I don't know, 4th in La Liga. And all the other teams above them, Atleti, Barcelona, Madrid, let's say for example, they're already in the league. So are they just ignored because they're relegated? And it's just like, okay, next team down. Oh, you're up now. So what happens? 20 is a lot of teams, right? So, like, let's say, what if 3 Spanish teams or 2, 3 Bundesliga teams goes down? And if all the other Bundesliga teams are already in there, then are you going to pick the 7th or 8th best Bundesliga team to be in this competition? How does that work? I don't think it makes any sense.
This system ensures mobility within and across leagues.
No, only mobility for the bottom tier because you got 20 relegations compared to the only 2 promotions. But then the top pack is only 2 each time. And they'll probably keep swapping and flip-flopping. It'd be a yo-yo for the top 2. Then the scum at the bottom just have to deal with themselves.
Format is completely compatible with domestic leagues. This proposed format for football will guarantee openness, competitive tension, and success based on sporting merit.
You've said that 3 times now. That they really want to make sure that it's on sporting merit and on competition, and absolutely not in any way based on them wanting the money in UEFA. No.
Competition for all clubs, all players, and all fans.
I can't believe there's actual smart people that's put this through. I'm sorry, it is nonsense. It is nonsense. It really is nonsense. I can't believe it. There's this graph here. So match weeks 19, amount of matches per club 14 to the 8. That's post the 24. So I don't know what that fully means. As far as I'm aware, as far as I know, the new system for the Champions League and the actual this thing, whatever it's actually called, European Super League, is actually A22 because they don't want you to think it's the European Super League, something completely different. Shut up. I love that. There's a key one. Governance. UEFA or participating clubs. Do you think... Okay, so let's say the clubs that take part are the governance. What clubs exactly? Do you think that clubs in Netherlands, Turkey, Croatia, Portugal, do these have any governance at all? Tell me. I'll love to know exactly who governs this exactly. I'll love to know who really governs this. Because I'm telling you now, it's not the clubs that takes part. Not most of them. Not really any of them. Only probably about 3 or 4. Real Madrid, Barcelona, Juventus probably. And maybe 1 or 2 others. Again, this is the key thing that I have an issue with this. The European Super League doesn't work without the English clubs. It doesn't. It's not a European Super League. No one will really watch this. Not the audience that you need without United, Liverpool, Arsenal, Chelsea. It won't work. it will not work whatsoever. So that's the issue that I have with it, is the fact that without the English clubs, because you may, let's say if you are, I put this out on Twitter, people had a go at me, but they were all from India or America, which is fine. Watch the sport wherever you're in the world, but you need to understand that the way that you see football is different to many people. As a match-going fan, I see football different to you. I don't see the sport in the same way as you do. Most people don't from England. That this is not going to work. I've never talked about this before. And of course this comes up, so I'll talk about it when it comes up. You guys seem obsessed of complaining about the Premier League, about how much money we spend, instead of actually focusing on why people don't watch your league in the first place. Look into the history and the reasons why the Spanish La Liga is not as successful as it should be, because of the greed by the top two in the first place. I found this article, back in 2011, 12 years ago, by Bleacher Report, saying are FC Barcelona and Real Madrid slowly killing the Spanish league. This is 12 years ago. They foreseen this happening all the way back then. And there's a good quote, here that I want to highlight here. Look at this sentence right above here. La Liga is in crisis and its future as a competition is uncertain. Barcelona and Real Madrid are probably the two biggest clubs in the world. They are the two biggest clubs in the world, right? But they need the other clubs as well. If the league goes broke, the two giants will both severely be affected as well. They'll both pay sooner or later. They call it here, saying this might not be a huge problem right now, since Real Madrid and Barca have the largest fan bases in Spain and Europe, while Messi and Ronaldo are both popular superstars where people tune in every week at least to watch the big two. But it will end up being a problem at some point, even for Barca or Real Madrid supporters, if the league will end up getting boring if nothing changes. And what they fail to also mention is what happens when they leave, which they have, and we're seeing the impact of it now. This is the issue. The root of this problem is the extremely unbalanced revenue sharing. Barca and Real Madrid get €150 million a year, 3 times more than Atleti and Valencia, 10 times more than the rest of the league. This explains why the gap increases with each passing year and why even clubs like Valencia are financially strapped. The blame must lie with the two Spanish giants. And of course, I just want to highlight this as well. This is a graph of the revenue distribution from 2011-2012, and you can see the massive gap between Barca and Real Madrid. Now, keep in mind as well, this has been improving year by year. So for example, this is a image from 17-18, and it looks a bit more fairer, and the gap is slowly building. And here's the most recent from 21-22, and you can see that it does seem a bit more fairer all around. However, the damage is already done. For example, let's compare this to the Premier League back in 2021. This is the more specific one I can find from most recent years in 2020-21, which you can see that the gap between the top dog, City, who won the league, and our bottom, Sheffield United, is much more fairer. And that from being second place to third place, the main chunk of the wealth is in equal share. And the only difference is merit payment, which means that you get more and more money based on how high you're in the league. And you get around £2 to £3 million extra per position that you finish above. And here's a graph from 21-22 of how it's also shared. And as you can see, it is predominantly always based on how you finish. And the main chunk of the wealth is based on equal share. And it's important to also add, this is not just a recent thing. This was also the case back in 2012-13, back when Messi and Ronaldo was there at their peak. Here is the Premier League TV payments from 2012-13. Again, as you can see, the gap between the top and bottom is nowhere near as big, and based on where you finish is predominantly the money that you receive. Is that more teams can get better even at the bottom, therefore making it more competitive, making it more interesting for people to watch, therefore more viewers, therefore more money. And what we are seeing now is the result of multiple years of this type of system. And in contrast to Premier League and La Liga, it cannot be any more further apart. La Liga's only just caught up recently, but by then again, as I said, the damage is done. The damage was done by the amount of years that the greed of Real Madrid and Barcelona has created this problem in the first place. And now Messi and Ronaldo are both gone. They are now left trying to sell a league that is now hindered due to their greed in previous years. The fall lies with them. So what happens? You cry foul about the Premier League, and now the Premier League is making so much more money than us, but that's because we didn't create a stupid system that means that no one else makes any money either. They also make a ton of money alongside the top 2 or top 3 or top 6 in England, and everyone succeeds because of it. Therefore, the league is therefore all around more competitive, and therefore people want to watch. Is it the Premier League's fault, that Barcelona riddled themselves into debt and still continue to build a mega shining super stadium without the fact that they've not got money in the first place? But they're going to plan to do it anyway because they're Barcelona, right? Who's going to tell them what to do? They're banking on this. They need this to work. Otherwise, they are financially screwed. Real Madrid, they need this because they also want to compete with the big boys. They don't have the money like the Premier League teams do, and therefore they must be doing something wrong, because that's how life works, right? If they have money and I don't, therefore they must be doing something wrong and evil. It is stupid, right? Focus on yourselves and realize that you are the reason why you guys are in this position in the first place. And this is primarily to Barca and Real Madrid because it's you who have caused this and it's you that are pushing this nonsense. And I've also seen Juventus too. Do I want to go into the amount of scandals primarily with Juventus on why that league is also not taken as seriously? Look at the Calciopoli scandal as one example of the amount of nonsense that's happening in the league and tell me who ruined the credibility. Was it the Premier League or was it yourselves? This is off, right? Because I'm sick and tired of having these idiots online talk to me about how I'm the problem. I'm not even involved, mate. I'm not a United fan. I'm not watching European football barely. I'd rather go to away days with Burnley against Birmingham City than go to United. Much rather have that. If you're watching this and you don't agree with me, that's because you just don't see football in the same way as me. But many people, especially in England or Scotland or wherever else, they see football very similar to me. And this is just how we are raised. And this is just greed. And again, I must insist, I don't think UEFA are perfect. I think they're greedy as hell too. I don't think the Premier League are perfect. I think they're greedy as hell too. I'm sick and tired of the sport. I'll be fully honest with you already. But I'm already locked in now. I've already bought my ticket. I'm already on the ride. So this is what we have to deal with here, boys. So that's my thoughts on it. It's fucking nonsense. And anyone that thinks that this is good for the sport, you are part of the problem. So I'll see you guys next time.